what I'm going to try and do here is show you how we set up the landscape format sheet that people in kind of years 2, 3 and above are being advised to use. So you've been given some notification that the kind of quality level of the plot should be 8,000 pixels by 4,500 pixels. So if this was a file that was coming straight from Photoshop, that's quite easy to set up, because you're basically working in pixels generally. But if you're plotting from AutoCAD, then we have to do a bit of a bit of a complicated setup to get this to work right. Okay, so the 8,000 and 4,500, they're basically coming from the 16:9 aspect ratio that most kind of high definition displays are working with, and this allows the tutors to review the work and see a full image right across their screen. So that's what we're trying to encourage you to do, to use this 16:9 aspect all the time. Okay, so what we've got to do is get a couple of kind of numbers into our head, and this is the resultant number, 1354 and 762, but we get those by taking the 8,000 pixels and saying that we're going to have a quality of printing level at 150 dpi. Okay, because that's dots per inch, we're left with an inch is answer there. So 8,000 divided by 150 gives us 53.33 inches. Okay, but we need to convert that to millimeters to set things up to scale in AutoCAD, because we use millimeter based scales. Okay, so we then multiply the 53.333 by 25.4, and this gives us a sheet size of 1354 long, and using the other measurement, 762 millimeters high. Okay, so let me show you one of those kind of set up, taking a drawing that you're all pretty au fait with. Okay, so here we've got the 1354 millimeters, 762. Okay, and the viewports are still working properly. So this one is a 1:50 viewport. Same with the plan here. The section, got that set to 1:100, and an aerial view for the site plan that's at 1:1000. Okay, so we're keeping that kind of general kind of paper space sizing that we're used to. Okay, so what I'm going to do is close this file, and I'm going to work through this file instead and take it through to a 16:9 orientation with the other paper size, so you can see all the steps involved. So I'll just close this just now. May as well save the changes. Okay, so the page setup for this one at the moment is an A1 portrait. Okay, so let's start changing this now. Okay, so you right click the tab, page setup manager, and we want to modify this. Okay, so we're going to stick with the DWG to PDF as the base printer. Just lately, I'm not sure if it's a problem with Adobe or with my laptop, but if I try and print using actually Adobe's PDF creator, if I tried this one, I get very little in the way of results. It seems to have kind of jammed up, so I'm kind of sticking with the DWG to PDF. Okay, and you can see there's our paper size at the moment, an ISO A1 portrait, and the usual settings for the rest, that the plot scale here is 1mm to 1 unit, and I'm using black and color CTB as well. Okay, so what we'll do first is go to the properties for this printer. Okay, and what we're needing is our own paper size. Okay, now I've already, because I've practiced this a few times, there's a setting here already, so I'll just delete this one just so you can see it getting added. Okay, so we want to add a paper size. Okay, you'll be starting from scratch. Click next. Okay, we're working in millimeters. Okay, so you see we can't use the pixels. We can't just put in 8,000 pixels here. We've got to use either inches or millimeters, because the drawing's set up in decimal, okay, and not imperial. Okay, we need to use millimeters. Okay, so it was 1354 width and the height 762. Okay, so you can see the shape. We've got our 16:9 ratio. Go to next. Okay, the printable area, it's saying how big are margins do you want. We can make that bigger or smaller. I'm just going to go with the 13. It's 13 millimeters because we're working in millimeters. Okay, next. Okay, and paper size name, we could use, you could leave it as user 1, or we can take over here and change this, so maybe make it a bit more understandable. So this is our 16:9 ratio. Okay, so I can kind of see that a bit easier in the list. It'll be a bit clearer. So it's 16:9, 1354 by 762. Okay, next again. Not much more we can do now, and finish. So that's created a paper size. Okay, and this information goes into this file here, a PMP file. So it's going to modify the settings for the DWG to PDF to have another paper size included. So it just kind of appends it to the file. Okay, so we're going to use this paper size, and OK. Okay, we haven't told it to use the paper size yet, so we have to choose it now, and usually the user ones you'll find at the top of the list. Okay, so there's our 16:9, 1354 by 762. Okay, when we click OK now and close, okay, we've got the paper size. What I forgot to do there was change it to landscape, so I'll just go back into there and modify that again. So page setup manager, modify, and landscape, and OK. Click close, and that should be it. So let's just check the size of the screen here. I'll just use the distance command, and you don't have anything you can click on in paper space, so this is just done by eye. We'll just check the length of this. Okay, there's our 1354, so we've got the right paper size. Now this was a 1:100 elevation previously. Okay, so what I'm just going to do is tidy things up a wee bit here. Okay, let's just get this out of the way, and let's say I'm going to go to 1:50 with these. So if I just kind of double the size of the viewport and then choose my 1:50 scale, get that right, I need to jump out of the viewport. Okay, similarly here, if I wanted a 1:50 plan, then I need a bit more space for the viewport. There's some little bits of text here, we'll get rid of those in a second. So 1:50 again. Okay, so it's behaving itself. It's giving us this kind of the expected kind of paper size and behavior that we want. Just going to delete those little bits of text just for now. Okay, and then format your page. Move the title across. Okay, just bring that down, make sure I've got enough space to get the elevation on. Okay, we'll move this again. And yep, tidy up all your titles and everything in that fashion. Okay, so that's kind of ready to. Oh, actually, what I'll do, I'll just scrap the section just now, and I'll just plot that so you can see the quality of the line. So we'll just plot this. Usual, continue to plot a single sheet. Okay, let's preview it just to make sure it's behaving. Looks okay. Okay, we'll plot that, and I'm going to save it on top of this PDF that I've got here that I prepared earlier. Overwrite that. Okay, because it's the AutoCAD's DWG to PDF creator, the layers are still intact, but the file size is very, very small. So here's the PDF. It's only 397 kilobytes, so about a third of a megabyte. So that is really, really compact. So whatever the DWG to PDF creator is doing, it's doing a very good job of keeping the PDF nicely compressed. Okay, let's just have a check of the properties of the PDF. Okay, we can see here the inches size. So we've got the right size of piece of paper. So we're at scale. That's what's important, that we're kind of not losing that scale. Okay, if I zoom in on that, let's get in much closer. Have a look at the line quality. You know, very crisp, because it's that first kind of generation PDF. It's not been anywhere near Photoshop. It's not been rasterized at all. The line quality is as you wanted it. Okay, so I'll just close that for now. What I did earlier was print the original file, and you can see the size of that PDF here. It's bigger than the one we just created, even though this is a much larger piece of paper. Okay, only because this one had a bit more information in it. It had a bit more text, and it had the section in it as well. So that's why that one is slightly bigger. Okay, so if your sheet is completely covered with material and shading and color, the PDF is going to get a bit bigger. Okay, but it's not disastrously big. Now these files, these things that we've just tweaked, they get saved into the information in your control panel. So if I just show you what we're meaning, so it's these two links here that are in control panel. Okay, if you go to control panel and it looks like this, you go to the word category and change it to large icons. Okay, so let's have a look at the Autodesk Plotter Manager. Okay, and the PMP files is what's being changed. So the DWG to PDF. Okay, if I go into here, okay, and you can see here the DWG to PDF.pmp has got today's date and the time that I just did the modification. Now there might also be, yeah, I've got two sets of plotters here, maybe because I've added different versions of AutoCAD, and you can see here this is the one that's got today's date on it, DWG to PDF, 13th of April. Let's have another look. Yeah, that one's way up. That one's much older. So there's a few files getting updated as we do that. Okay, but if I go for a new, let's go for a new layout. Okay, page setup manager. Okay, because now we've created the piece of paper, it's in our list that we can choose. So we modify the page setup. Okay, the plotter was the DWG to PDF. The paper size was our 16:9 ratio 1. Okay, landscape there. Okay, so it's ready to go. Okay, the viewport here. Let's pull in a bit of drawing into that viewport. Okay, and say 1 to 100 there. Okay, so it's kind of behaving correctly. We've got the the size of image that you'd expect on the paper. So that's plotting straight from AutoCAD to PDF. What I'm going to do is have a look at a couple of other bits of software as well, and just show you a few things you could try to and control the PDFs. So I hope that one's been useful. Thanks for watching.